What if your child's curiosity isn't something you build, but something you accidentally reduce every day? Not through obvious mistakes, but through subtle, well-meaning habits. In this video, we'll reveal 5 subtle parenting habits that can either nurture or limit your child's curiosity and what science says about them. Let's begin. 1. The way you respond to questions. From a research perspective, children's questions are not random. They're a form of active learning. Studies in early childhood development show that when children ask why questions, they're testing hypotheses about how the world works. Now here's where parenting comes in. When a child asks a question, the response they receive shapes whether they continue asking. Supportive responses, like engaging, expanding, or exploring the question, encourage deeper curiosity. Dismissive responses like ignoring, rushing, or shutting down the question tend to reduce future questioning. Over time, children adapt. They learn whether curiosity is welcomed or inconvenient. A practical, research-backed approach is called scaffolding. Instead of simply giving answers, you guide the child's thinking. For example, what do you think might happen? Why do you think that works that way? This approach doesn't just answer the question, it strengthens the child's ability to think independently. 2. Your reaction to mistakes and failure. Curiosity involves uncertainty, and uncertainty often leads to mistakes. Research on learning behavior shows that children who feel safe making mistakes are more likely to explore new ideas. But when mistakes are met with criticism or punishment, children tend to shift toward performance-based behavior. In simple terms, they focus on being right instead of being curious. This connects closely with the concept of a growth mindset, a term popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck. A growth mindset encourages children to see mistakes as part of the learning process. For example, instead of saying, "That's wrong," you might say, "That's an interesting attempt. What can we learn from it?" Research shows that this kind of response increases persistence, exploration, and curiosity. Because the child learns, mistakes are not failures, they're information. 3. How you manage boredom and unstructured time. In modern environments, children have constant access to stimulation. Screens, games, and structured activities fill almost every moment. But research suggests that unstructured time, including boredom, is essential for curiosity. Why? Because boredom creates a cognitive gap. When children are bored, their brains begin searching for engagement. This often leads to imaginative play, problem-solving, self-directed exploration. In contrast, when stimulation is always provided externally, children may become less likely to initiate exploration on their own. Some researchers refer to this as a reduction in self-directed curiosity. The key insight here is simple. Boredom is not a problem to eliminate. It's a condition that can trigger curiosity. Allowing children time without structured input gives them space to ask, "What can I do next?" And that question is where curiosity begins. 4. Over-providing information. It might seem counterintuitive, but giving children too much information too quickly can actually reduce curiosity. Research in cognitive science shows that curiosity is strongest when there is a gap in knowledge. This is sometimes referred to as the information gap theory, associated with economist George Lowenstein. The idea is simple. When we know a little but not everything, our brain becomes motivated to fill in the gap. But when all the answers are provided immediately, that motivation disappears. In parenting, this often shows up as over-explaining. For example, a child asks how something works, and the parent gives a complete, detailed explanation right away. While informative, it removes the opportunity for discovery. A more effective approach is to pace the information. Give just enough to guide curiosity, but leave room for exploration. For instance, that's part of the answer. What else do you notice? This keeps the child mentally engaged. 5. Modeling curiosity through your own behavior. One of the most consistent findings in developmental research is that children learn through observation. This idea is central to social learning theory, developed by psychologist Albert Bandura. According to this theory, children imitate behaviors they see modeled around them. So when it comes to curiosity, what you do matters more than what you say. If a child observes a parent who asks questions, explores new ideas, admits when they don't know something, they are more likely to adopt those same behaviors. On the other hand, if they observe avoidance of uncertainty, a preference for routine, discomfort with not knowing, they may internalize those patterns instead. Modeling curiosity doesn't require anything complex. Simple behaviors like, "I wonder how this works. Let's try something new," signal that curiosity is normal and valuable. And over time, those signals shape how children approach learning. When you step back and look at these 5 behaviors, a clear pattern emerges. Curiosity isn't something that needs to be forced. It's something that already exists in children. But it's highly sensitive to environment. Small, repeated interactions, how you respond, react, and model behavior either support that curiosity or gradually reduce it. So the next time your child asks a question, makes a mistake, or says they're bored, pause, because in that moment, you're not just responding to behavior, you're shaping how they learn. And over time, those small moments add up. They shape whether your child becomes someone who avoids uncertainty, or explores it, waits for answers, or searches for them. Because curiosity isn't just about learning facts. It's about developing a mindset, one that drives growth, creativity, and lifelong learning. If you found this valuable, consider sharing it with another parent or educator, because understanding how curiosity works might be one of the most important tools we have in raising the next generation.